Watch. So, pay attention. This won't take long. I've got 2 problems. I'm only going to do 2 problems, and we'll do a look at the other tomorrow. Only 2 problems. So here we go. So, problem number 1. Do I have a pair of opposites? Opposites. Do you see it? Do you see a pair of opposites anywhere? Do you see the pair of opposites on number 1? Victor, are you looking?
Yeah.
Victor, do you see a pair of opposites?
Sure.
Where? See it. See it, Emily. The 5 and the 40. See how that's opposite? Those are opposite. You guys see that? You guys see that? All right. Okay. Now, the 6 has an opposite. Where is the opposite of 6? It's that angle. Okay. Opposites, right? Angle, opposite side. Opposite side, angle, right? So let's call this theta. Okay. Does that make sense? You guys see the opposites? So what I need to do is find an angle. So I look at my notes. Look at my notes. My notes say, okay, angles. There's my notes, right? So I set up the formula, okay? All right, so I'm going to set up my formula, and I'm going to go, okay, I got to go sine theta over 6 equals sine 40 over 5. Opposite. Set it up. Set it up, okay? Now I'm going to show you about the inverse, right? Okay, set it up, okay? It's just opposites. I want to find the angle, so I use this formula. So this angle, so I use this one, sine of theta. Over top of this side. Sine of 40 over 5. How am I doing? Just tell me when to solve it. So what I'm going to do is, like Emily suggested last time, we're going to multiply by 6. Does that make sense? Times by 6. Times by 6. Okay, see that? So let's solve it. We're going to go times by 6, times by 6, times by 6, okay? So I have sine of theta equals 6 times the sine of 40 over 5. Okay? I just simplified this. I multiplied by 6. I like to do it this way. I like to bring the 6 up. That's faster. Just multiply the 6 up, okay? Do you see what I have? So then, I'm just going to type this in. Watch. Mode, degree mode. I'm just going to go 6 times sine of 40 divided by 5, okay? Now, that can't be an angle. That can't be an angle. Okay? This can't be an angle. But we're trying to find an angle, so what button do I push? So I want to do sine inverse of this decimal, right? Of this decimal, okay? So I'm going to go sine inverse of 0.7713, okay? So to get the angle, I have to push the sine inverse. I'm looking for an angle, so I'm going to go, all right, sine inverse of whatever this was, which was a 0.7713, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now my calculator, I have a button that helps me out with this, sine inverse. Okay, now there is, to save us accuracy and time, in my calculator, in blue, is this ANS, which stands for answer. I didn't have to type the 0.77, I just push answer and then it jumps right in. Okay, does that make sense? This little blue button here means the last answer, so I didn't have to type 0.7713, I just went answer at the top there, which is this number. Okay? Now, if I push enter, I should get an angle. So push enter, and I get an answer of, okay, about 50.5 degrees. So theta is about 50.5 degrees, okay? Now let me put that in there. How am I doing? Now, we're not done, but there's more I can do. There's more I can do. So, it says find all missing angles and sides. Well, in any triangle there's 1, 2, 3 angles, right? How many degrees do all 3 angles add up to?
180.
So I'm going to add these two and subtract from 180 to get that angle.
Oh, I was right?
Yes, you were right. So let's add these two and subtract 180 to find this angle, okay? So I'll call that A for angle A, okay? Let's give it a name. Okay, I'll call it A for angle A. So angle A is equal to 180 degrees. 40 plus 50.5, and I'm just going to use my calculator to do that work. $40 plus 50.5, and I get an answer of about 89.5. Okay, now the very last thing I want to do is this. Okay, the last thing we do is this. I want to find this side. I don't know that side, right? But I can't. It's not a right triangle. I can't do the A squared plus B squared. Will not work. Don't use it. But what we can do is opposites again. Opposites. Well, do opposites because I've got opposites. And I can find this opposite. See how opposites are going to work? It's actually faster than Pythagoras' theorem. It's opposites, right? You see the opposites, and I'll find this opposite. I'll just call that x, and I'll find that opposite. Okay, so I'm looking for the last side. Let me just call this x. And this time, I can use this symbol. I can use this one because I'm missing side, right? So I'm going to go x, opposite. I'm going to go x over the sine of 89.5, sine equals 5 over the sine of 40. Okay, now, Emily, even though it's this weird thing, we're still going to multiply. Does that make sense? Because this is technically a number in my calculator. You guys agree? So I'm still going to multiply by sine 89.5 to this side. I'm going to multiply, okay? So let me show you my shortcut way of multiplying. So I'm just going to multiply it up. I'm going to take this sine of 89.5 and multiply it up. So I'm going to have 5 sine of 89.5 divided by sine of 40, okay? See, I multiplied it up and put it there. Now give me x. And then I just use my calculator. 5 sine 0.5 divided by sine of 40. I get about 7.78. Now, I never use the inverse button because I don't need an angle. Don't use, okay? I did not push these buttons. I don't need an angle. I need a side, right? Didn't push these buttons. I need a side. Okay. So let's look at number 2 and do number 2 together real quickly. Okay, take a look at number 2. What's the first thing you think you should do? Take a look at that. Yeah, that's easy. How do you do that? Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Okay, you guys agree? Let me give this a name. Let's call it my favorite, PIG.
Pig?
Yeah, triangle pig. I like triangle pig. It's my favorite triangle. PIG. So I agree with Luke. Angle I is equal to 180 degrees minus 82 plus 70. Right? Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Luke. Easy, right? 180 minus 82 plus 70. I get 28 degrees. Okay? Awesome. Okay, now, do you see a pair of opposites? Do you see opposites? Take a look. Do you see opposites? Where's my opposites? Perfect. So now, it's your choice. You could find little g, or you could find little p. It does not matter. Grade, what do you want to do? Little g or little p, doesn't matter. What? Little p. Little p. Let's find little p, okay? For Pardon, right?
Art.
Little p for Pardon. But he's not little p.
Big P.
He's big P. Of course, if you know his dad. Okay, so you got your opposites, right? I got my opposites, so I'm going to circle them. All right, got opposites, 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 opposites. See, I got my opposites, so we're going to write little p over sine of 82 equals 13 over sine of 28. Oh, that's a bad looking 28. Sine of 28. Opposite. So it's side. It's as easy as this. Side over the sine of its angle equals side over the sine of its angle. Right? That's all it is. Now, Emily, how are we going to solve?
We're gonna do the opposite.
We're going to multiply. Let's multiply by this. Okay, so multiply this up over here. Okay. So multiply up. So I'm just going to multiply sine of 82 up here. So I'll have p equals 13 times the sine of 82 divided by sine of 28. I need my calculator, right? Okay, so I'm going to go 13 sine 82 divided by sine 28. 27.4. Okay, 27.4. Put that in there. Okay, last problem. Honest, here it is, last problem. Okay, now, last problem. We gotta find G. You gotta find G. Do you have a pair of opposites? Yeah, you got opposites, don't you? We got opposites here too. I would just use, because of the decimal, I just use these two, right? Now you can get G because you got an angle, you got opposites, right? So let's go G over the sine of 70 equals 13 over the sine of 82. Opposites. All about doing the opposites, right? You can see it's easy, isn't it? Takes a little bit of work, but I can do it. So I'm going to say, okay, opposites. G over sine of its angle equals 13 over the sine of 28. Emily, how are we going to multiply? What are we going to do?
We're gonna do that over that.
All right, we're going to multiply that up there. So we have a little g equals 13 times the sine of 70 divided by sine of 28, all right? That's a 28. And I'm just going to use my calculator. Just multiplied it up. Calculator, just exactly 13 times sine 70 divided by sine 28. And I get an answer of about 26. Now, you need to do this. So I'm going to stop recording. And we have about 17 minutes. So I want